Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream around the divination cards, the oracle card that was drawn in the morning. It sparks or starts a spiritual conversation, and I tell you what, I like it. I enjoy it, and I hope you do too. Today is Sunday, February 17th, and here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live, it is snowing. It's been snowing since about mid-morning. Yeah. So we're supposed to get at least a couple of inches. On top of the almost 18 inches we got just, was it a week and a half ago? Within the snow we're still dealing with, right? So, yeah, welcome. And I need to say this out loud. It's my youngest brother's birthday today. Yeah, I won't say how old he is because that way yeah, he won't get mad at me then. So happy birthday, Robert. Happy birthday. And yeah, today's the 17th of February. Yeah, it's Sunday, I like to try to do something, I don't know, kind of routine on Sundays at my house. It's usually fairly quiet, especially in the mornings. Mom does her usual thing, which is, the Sunday paper and a cup of coffee, sometimes a roll or a Danish, just, a part of one because she doesn't eat the whole thing. And that's her routine. Mine is reading, sometimes going back to bed to sleep in a little bit. And Paul is kind of putzing around the house, he started our supper in the slow cooker this morning. And so usually it's a fairly quiet morning in that routine. Do you guys have something similar? Do you do something on Sunday mornings or even Saturday mornings for that matter that's kind of different than the rest of the week? Try to make Sunday a little special, that's more family oriented, because both Paul and I work a lot. We do. We try to get that balance in there as best we can. Hey, look, Rochelle's in the house. Hello, Rochelle. Pretty good today. Well, that's good. That's really good for you, Rochelle. I'm so glad. Didn't mean to use that emoji. Why not? You use the angel. Why not use that one? Right? Hey, Tina. Tina's in the house. Tina, thank you for sending that YouTube about the ear ringing. If you don't mind, if you could share that. Let's see, I think I did. Wait, let me think. I think I shared that with the Academy closed group. I think I did because it was really good. Thank you for sharing that. And Pat, hello, Pat. Good afternoon. Good day, I should say, because I don't know what time of day it is by you. Tina says, I have something real good to eat today. You do? What? What? Paul is doing a beef roast I think it's beef. Could be elk roast in the crock pot. I wasn't up when he started preparing it. It smells really good. For those of us that are carnivores, it smells pretty good. Yeah. I guess we're going to have mashed potatoes with it, which we don't do very often, but we're going to have mashed potatoes with it this evening with roasted vegetables. Doesn't that sound good? Roasted root vegetables. So today's card was very interesting because I did my intention and I just started shuffling. It wasn't even a minute, not even 30 seconds. It jumped out immediately and fell on the floor right next to George again. It was like, leave it, don't pick it up, that kind of thing. So yeah, I almost forgot. I'm going to share, like and share the broadcast. I almost forgot. Okay. I just got to go to the main fan page because I'm using my phone. Here we are. I'm going to like it and I'm going to share it over to my my news feed and letting my friends know I'm live streaming and to please join me. All right. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Gonna post that. Yay. Good. All right. And thank you for those who shared. I appreciate that. I do. I forgot. Tina says meatloaf and biscuits. Yum. Yum. Would that be powder? What is that? Powdered biscuits? Am I getting that name wrong? It feels like I am. Yeah. Like soda bread kind of biscuits. Yeah. My mom used to make those all the time. Violet saying hi. Hi, Violet. Good to have you here. Good to have you here. Thank you, Rochelle, for sharing. And thank you, Violet, for sharing. I appreciate it. And those people those souls who are looking for spiritual information, I'm sure they'll be appreciating it too, because you make it just a tad bit easier for them, right? When we do a share like that. Yeah. All right. I'm going to make sure my phone's turned down. And can make sure that the chat is working. Yeah, that's it. Baking powder biscuits. My mom used to make them all the time when we were kids, because we didn't have. We would have store-bought bread every once in a while. She made bread. She made tortillas a lot. We had fry bread, tortillas, baking powder biscuits. She'd also make the dumplings, homemade dumplings. Yeah. She even made donuts. She never made bagels, but she made donuts. And we'd always have cookies. We didn't have store-bought cookies very often. We always had homemade cookies. Looking back on that, we were, you know how kids are. It's like, why can't we have those cookies, and why do we have to have these cookies, the ones that she had made? And now as an adult, looking back on that, how hard my mom worked for us. She was in the kitchen all the time. And even though we didn't get store-bought stuff very often, we always had something. She was always making something for us. Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes she had to be quite imaginative to make things stretch. And when she says to me today, and, because, some days are harder than others for her, right? And on those hard days, she says, I don't understand why I'm always so tired. She says, I'm not doing hardly anything anymore, and I'm so tired. And, I said, Mom, you deserve to rest. Take a nap. You worked so hard for your entire life, practically, from the time you were 16 until Dad passed away. You worked so hard. And so it's okay to take a nap. It's okay to take it easy. It's okay to watch a movie in the afternoon and not feel guilty because you're not doing anything. She says productive. I think back on that when I see, the baking powder biscuits, and I remember how hard she worked for us. Yeah. Could never master that. The dumplings or the fry bread. People say that fry bread is really easy to make, and I think it is when you're used to doing it all the time. It's kind of like my mom was really good at it, and the tortillas, right? Because she did it all the time. It takes me a few batches before it actually starts looking halfway decent because I don't do it nearly as often. Maybe, a few times a year. And these days, I use frozen bread, white bread dough. I thaw it out in the morning, and before supper time, it's ready to go. And I knead it a little bit, and that's what I use for the fry bread, because we don't do it very often. It's not healthy for us, number one. But even though it's not healthy for us, it's still good. That's something a staple we grew up with. And so to have it with real maple syrup, oh my God, that is the best dessert. Or to have it with venison corn soup, oh my God. So we do it every once in a while. Not very often, though. Not very often. Tina's saying the biscuit powder, baking powder. I know. My mom, I have all my mom's recipes, but that doesn't mean I'm good at it. I have them, and I know how to follow the recipes, but my mom always told me that I could be a better cook if I wanted to be. She says when you want to make a dish, it's really good. But when it's something that you have to do, she says, it's just good enough. That's a compliment for my mom because she's a perfectionist. And so, but it's true. It's true. When we really want to do something, it turns out pretty well, right? When our heart's in it. Yeah. All right. So the card today, like I said, it jumped out of the deck. Sorry for the dinging. That is my husband and his two sisters having a conversation about something. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to look. They'll just have to wait for my comment. All right. So the card that came this morning right away was the fire dragon. The fire dragon. We just had him, 2 days ago. He is definitely very persistent in a message, right? In a message. Definitely persistent. The fire dragon. So as I turned the card over when it was picking it up off from the floor, I was wondering, what else could we share about the dragon that we didn't share the other day? Because the dragon medicine is huge medicine, huge. And so I wondered, what could that be, right? I wonder what that could be. And I was thinking about our discussion yesterday with the swan and with the wolf, right? And so what I did was I asked my spiritual team if they could, here, just a second. I'm going to show that in a minute. If they could help us out by giving us a little bit more information to help us understand what is it about the dragon card that they would like us to know about today, because the information is quite a bit, and we could go just about in any direction with it. And so how do we best understand the message coming through the dragon card, the fire dragon, today? Right. Yeah. Yeah. The fire dragon. So I'm curious. I really am curious. Since we had this card so recently, did you guys have any other feelings or thoughts about the dragon card after the show was done the other day? I'm curious because dragon medicine isn't an easy medicine to carry. It's not. It's big medicine. To carry the fire that way, I only speak from experience. Being that triple fire sign, that triple Sag, it took me a good portion of 2 decades to learn how to walk with that kind of medicine in a balanced way. Sometimes it was quite fun, and other times it was quite challenging and trying to find the right word for it. Fearful in a way. Yeah, when I realized how easily it was for me to be able to burn somebody, to hurt somebody with my words. And my mom had been coaching me almost my entire life. She would say to me, be careful what you say, because once it's out of your mouth, it'll be out there all the time, always. And saying you're sorry doesn't always work. And so so I was I would be very aware sometimes about the words I was going to use. And other times, especially in my 20s, when I said the heck with it, that's way too much work, and just be who I wanted to be at the time. Until I realized how often I would hurt somebody's feelings, you know, and it was true. Sometimes saying you're sorry doesn't cut it, doesn't. And so walking with that much fire, you know, and the same way with those people, because Minnie Kansman, we talk about this every once in a while. Minnie Kansman is a triple water. She's a triple Cancer. And so she said, even though it's about emotions, she said it's similar. It's still really big energy to carry, and to be able to understand how to best walk with it, right? And so sometimes we talk about those things because, you know, you'd think that with that much water, it would be a little bit easier, because it's, you know, you think about water being a little bit softer than fire, but it's not. It's just as destructive. And so learning how to walk with it as best you can, to learn how to be balanced. Thank you, Stephanie, for listing all of the stuff that we're doing at Star Nations and what's coming up. Yeah. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody's comments. Got to scroll a little bit here. Mm-hmm. I know we're doing a lot here at Star Nations, and Stephanie is trying to make sure that you guys know about the stuff that we're doing. Here we go. Tina says, like maybe the Thunderbird in Native culture. Yeah, it's very similar. Very, very similar. My clan is Thunder, and my native name is Beneshikwe. That's the full name, and that's Bird Woman, right? And some of the elders would say that's about the Thunderbird. Well, actually, I was named after the Oriole, but you know, you're carrying that kind of medicine with the Thunderbird is really big medicine, and it's very, very similar to the Fire Dragon. Yes, you're right, Tina. It's huge. And so knowing when we're dealing with big medicine is, and this is what I got when I asked if we could have a second card to help us understand at more depth the fire dragon than we covered the first time. And I'm going to get a marking card here. It's a good thing the deck comes with some blank cards because I use them for bookmarkers. That was the fire dragon, and then the second card that came is the otter. Okay, so look at the difference, the energetic difference between the otter. The otter and, oops. I got to correct something here. Sorry, give me a second. I got to get that card out. It doesn't want to come out. Well, here we go. Had to ask her some help there. All right, so when you look at the otter medicine and what they carry and how they carry it, right, is about joy and playfulness. And to bring that with the second card that supports the first one, which is the fire dragon. I mean, to me, it's like they're on opposite sides of the continuum, right? I had to remember how to pronounce the otter in Gaelic. And it's Dobhran, otter in Gaelic. And the fire dragon in Gaelic is Draig-teine. Yeah. And so if we hold these two cards up together, like we did yesterday with the swan and the wolf, we even if I did it the other direction, right? Now they're looking at each other, which that feels a little bit better than them looking away from each other. Yeah. The energy of these two cards are they're almost like the polar opposites, right? I mean, you're going from the big medicine of a fire dragon, and then you're going to the otter medicine, which is about joy and playfulness, almost childlike, right? Yeah, and with the otter, we have the waterfall in the background, and he's by another body of water. I don't know if that's a river, could be a big lake. And in the background of the fire dragon, we have water. Behind the Tor, and behind the otter is the salmon. Remember, the salmon is a very cherished, valued totem for the druid, because the salmon is about knowledge or wisdom. Wisdom, right? And so the otter was in search of wisdom. And the dragon is protecting something valuable at the Tor. And the Tor had that gateway, remember? That portal or a cave that the dragon is protecting, a cave of initiation. Really, when I sat and looked at these two cards, and I was like, holy smokes. This is I think a really important message that Spirit is trying to get across to us. Tina says, I don't know if I should say this, but my sacred stone's name is Walks with Thunder. Oh, very nice. Yeah. That is, okay. Tina, thank you for sharing that, okay? Because I think one of the things that's going on with this combination is about protection, because both animals have a certain quality about them, and it's about protection. The otter skin is used to protect the war harp, remember? Their skin is water repellent, and in some cases, those ancient people, the Celtic people, saw the otter as being protective. In search of that knowledge, yes. In search of that wisdom, yes. But there's also another aspect to them, and that's protection. And so is the dragon. The fire dragon is protecting the Tor. And what else can the Tor represent? If underneath is a cave of initiation, that initiation within, right? That wisdom that comes with the initiation. They're protecting something. That kind of wisdom that we carry deep within us at a soul level. And so to share with us, Tina, about your sacred stone name, there was a time, even in my lifetime, when I was quite young, child, we never shared our spirit name, our native name, with anybody outside of the family. There's certain things and ceremonies that we never shared with anybody outside the clan or outside the tribe, right? That it was protected, because if other people had access to it, it could be manipulated, right? And so what does that mean? That they were doing it out of fear, really, trying to protect themselves against bad medicine, basically. And so we never shared that kind of information. I remember the first time I saw somebody use white sage or talk about tobacco, out in the middle of public. It was like I'm sitting in the back and I'm quiet, which doesn't happen very often, but I'm quiet, and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what would my grandparents say about something like that? But these days we're in a much different energy field. And to know that, or to take that step, Tina, to share something, you must have felt that it was okay to do that, especially here, that it's safe. It's safe. Yeah. And Tina's saying fire and water. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Fire and water. That we have, and we also have to add earth in there too, because they're both grounded. Now we can see, let's see. Here we go. We can see 3 feet of the otter on the ground. His tail is in the water though, right? And his tail is meant to be like a rudder, like a steering wheel, right? And the and the dragon, we can see at least two of his feet. Two of his feet, one front and one back, is grounded. So I think that we can add in there earth. Yeah. Can you make a drum from otter skin? I don't know. It might be too thin. I don't know. The only time I've ever known anybody to use otter in otter skin has been for medicine bags, and that's to carry their personal medicine in. I would venture a guess that it would be kind of thin, and it would be kind of like working with deer skin, because deer skin can be kind of thin too, and it's easily overstretched. And when you do that, it breaks really easy when it's dried. And so it's very delicate. And so you have to treat it as such, right? So I don't want to say no, but I think it would be a very delicate drum making so that you wouldn't overstretch it, right? Yeah. And they're small compared to a deer, right? And they're small. And so you would end up with probably a smaller size drum. Probably, I'm hearing like a 10-inch or an 8-inch drum. So yeah, could be. Yeah. All right. And Julie is saying dragon card is hot, otter is cool. Exactly. And what does that mean for some people, I wonder? Hot and cool. Tina says, I'm open to that. I am open. That's my problem. Yeah, I know. But there's a reason we're like that though, Tina. There's a reason. I share a heck of a lot more than I did when I was younger. That's for sure. It took me a while because I had to sift through those belief systems and feel which ones were made out of fear or from fear. And when they have that kind of base, do they really support me? And if I was guided that it wasn't, then I let it go. And so there's some things that I do share that I wouldn't have shared in my 20s or in my teens, right? Because at that time, I was still pretty much guided by my grandfather and my mom about those things, and If they told you no, it was no. It's like, you don't do it. Yeah. And so as we grow older and we sift through our beliefs and what we keep and what we don't keep, you're right though, that is our decision, and that's our consequence, whether the consequence is a positive or a negative one, right? It's ours. It's our decision, and it's meant for our soul growth, I think. I don't think that there is a mistake. I don't. We might feel like it is, or might think that it is probably a better way to say it. We might think that it is, but in the long haul, in the long, broad vision of it, nothing is a mistake. That the decisions that we make, the path that we choose to take, is all about our soul growth. And so we're growing all the time. We just have to decide how graceful that's going to be. And let me tell you, sometimes the ones that are the least graceful probably has the biggest soul growth attached to it. Yeah. When you feel like you just fell flat on your face or flat on your backside, right, on your bum, that is probably the least graceful way to go down. And yet it's in the getting up. It's in the standing, getting up again and brushing yourself off. That's the soul growth. That's the soul growth. And I know we've all been there, right? At one time or another, whether we share it out there in public or not. We know how that one fall was very painful and the least graceful we'd ever been. All right, so these two, I think my feeling is about protection, and I'll tell you why. When I was reading Philip Cargome, one of the authors, what he says about the dragon, right? So I'm going to just refresh our memory from the other day. It says that it's about transmutation, mastery, and energy. The card shows the flaming dragon of King Uther's vision. In the distance, we see Glastonbury Tor. Legend tells of a secret cave within the Tor, used perhaps for initiation. Flaming dragons often guard such caverns to prevent their desecration by the greedy and to offer their treasure to those who are worthy. In the foreground, lying on the rock, is a gold torque, a Celtic neck ring indicating high status, rulership, and mastery. Right? He goes on to say that vitality, enthusiasm, and courage, an increased ability to overcome obstacles and to find the energy needed to cope with one's life's problems. Having the powerful fire dragon is an ally, will align you with the qualities of leadership and mastery. With care, he will fuel your inner fire, which can be directed and channeled like a laser precision to help you accomplish tasks and achieve objectives. Okay? So laser-like qualities to achieve our objectives. And if one of our objectives is to search and find wisdom, that's a treasure, isn't it? That's something of high value, is that wisdom. And so if we have the opportunity to gain that wisdom, to go through whatever that initiation is, to gain it, it becomes valuable. And so we also have the dragon who can help to protect that. And in some cases, to actually keep it for us under that protection until we learn our mastery of it, and then we can have it. Right? And if we go back to the otter, the otter being protective as well, is to help us protect that wisdom that we just gained. And it's a strong possibility in that gaining of that wisdom, in that initiation, that we actually could have had fun with it. It may have come to us when we were the most relaxed and the most playful, right? Yeah, that's a lot there. There's a lot there. Oh my gosh, Kim Pentecost is here. Hello, Kim. It's good to see you here. She says, love to see you, be your beautiful self, and hear your wise words. Much love. Same to you, Kim. My goodness. It's good to see you here. It's been a long, long time, lady. Long time. Okay, and there's one other thing with the dragon. And this comes out of the Welsh, okay, out of the Welsh, the island of Wales. It says that, let's see, I gotta make sure I cover it all. The fire dragon guards the treasure of the inner fire that burns within each of us, and which is termed the dragon's fire, but which is more widely known under the Eastern name of the Kundalini. This fire circulates through each of our psychic centers or chakras, and its premature awakening through drug taking or inappropriate esoteric techniques can lead to severe psychological imbalances and even physical illnesses. It is no wonder then that the dragon, which guards this force, is pictured as fierce, for the consequences of misusing its power are grave indeed. Yeah. And so when I was reading that part, when we try to take the fast track, right? When we try to rush that gain of wisdom, when we're rushing to find that salmon, sometimes those shortcuts lead us down a different path than what we thought. And there are ways to fast track, right? And some of those drugs, that were, how do I want to say this, taken out of context, literally. When people misuse peyote, when it was meant to be part of a sacred ceremony coming out of the Southwest and Northwestern Mexico, right? There was a time when only certain medicine people took the peyote to have the visions. And they always did it with assistance of an elder who is also a medicine person. Okay, so they were never alone in taking it. The same way with ayahuasca. That sacred drug, that sacred plant taken out of context and used to fast track that when it was used in a sacred ceremony. And not everybody in the tribe or the clan took that ayahuasca. It was only the medicine people who did. And so taken out of context. And so when we do that, there's the consequence to it too. And it takes us down a different path than what we thought. Will it lead us to wisdom? Possibly. And whatever that wisdom gained, right? There might be a different way to do that, rather than trying to get there as quickly as we possibly can. Yeah. And so in some ways, you can see that as a misuse of power, a misuse of your abilities, of your gifts, a misuse of power. So when we make those kind of decisions for ourselves, that is to really take the time to ask ourselves, what is it that we're trying to achieve? What kind of soul growth are we striving for, right? And if you make that decision for yourself, then as Tina says, that's my problem. Literally, that, we have those consequences, right? Yeah. Whether they're deemed positive or negative. But the fire dragon can help us with that when we call on its medicine. Yeah. All right. So with the otter, that piece about protection. Okay, so the otter skin was considered magical. It could be worn as a charm against drowning. It could keep harps dry when made into a carrying bag. And when lining the inside of a shield, it could offer protection to the warrior. The magical powers of otter skin extended to healing. It was used as an antidote to fever and smallpox, and it was helpful in childbirth. Whoever dared lick the liver of a recently killed otter while it was still warm would receive the power to cure burns and scalds by licking them. As well as offering healing and protection, the otter calls us to play, to relax in the knowledge that nature will provide for our needs and that life can be fun and joyful. By taking ourselves less seriously, we will find that we can share with the otter the salmon of wisdom. Yeah. That's a lot there. Okay, so here's Tina saying something. She says, I don't believe anyone taking peyote, my thinking, that if the Creator wanted you to have a vision, you will, not take a plant to have one. Yeah, and I really do believe that it depends on your belief system, right? That you kind of summed up in one sentence practically what goes on here in Wisconsin between Native American religions. The traditionalists basically feel the way that Tina just expressed. And they see the Native American church who uses peyote as taking a sacred plant out of context. That it was used by indigenous people and from a different tribe, a different nation. And it's kind of it's even within family arguments kind of stuff, and one looks down on the other, and it's a very two-legged human kind of thing. And it's true, I think, Tina, is that if you're meant to have a vision, you'll have it, right? And like I said, the little that I know about the peyote in the traditional sense, that it was used and seen as a sacred plant in southwestern United States and northwestern Mexico, that the plant was ingested only by certain people. It wasn't ingested by a whole congregation kind of thing, So that's what I mean about being taken out of context. And yet, it is now a recognized religion in the Native American church. So, try not to be the judgmental, because I've never taken it. I've never been to a church service with Native American church. I've gone to funerals that were held at Native American church, but I've never been to a service. So, I can't be I can't say one way or the other. I do know that, as Tina said, and I agree with you, Tina, if you're going to have a vision, you're going to have it no matter what. No matter what. It's going to come. All right. Michelle's saying, wow, I know, we just blew everybody's mind, literally. And Tina's saying, because I have them without the peyote, the Rocky Boy Reservation does that close by me. Yeah. And like I said, Tina, is that I think it depends on your belief system. There's a reason why the Native American church was created. Yeah, and it was about survival, really. During a time when it wasn't healthy to be Native American. There was a time when nobody wanted to claim that because it could mean your life. It could mean death, really. And so, yeah, I think it was about survival at that time. Yeah. All right. So here's here's a picture I want to show you that I was looking for the other day, and I couldn't find it. And it's about the tour. In the dragon card, you'll see the tour right here, right? And that is a part that the fire dragon is protecting. That cave of initiation. We might even just extend that and call it the wisdom that you gain, from the experience of the tour, right? The kind of experience that you can gain not just at the tour, but just about any sacred site, right? All right, so this picture I'm going to show you, it was raining. Remember I told you it was raining a lot while we were there. So this is the inside of the tour, and it's kind of like a peel tower. If you're familiar with the kind of buildings that the Brits built. If you ever see a building that's made out of stone, especially in Wales and Ireland and Scotland, those were built by the British when they came in to invade. Okay, the indigenous people did not have brick buildings like that. To dwell in. Yeah. All right, but this is a building, the tour inside the tour. I have the drum that I have there is my 12-inch mylar. It's it's not a natural drum head because whenever I travel to Ireland, I can't take my natural skin drums because it's so damp there that they just sound thuddy. And I'd spend more time drying them out than playing them. But here we are. It was like I said, it was raining, and I had taken my drum out to drum while we were there, and the acoustics there was fantastic. Yeah. And that was just before. I don't remember. I think Todd was right after this. Todd pulled his drum out, I believe, and then we sang a Sweat Lodge song. I think we did a lot. We did a lot while we were in on that trip, and they're kind of mushing and mashing together. But it was right after Todd and I were done that Jan Beaver, one of our elders, sang a song in Anishinaabe, in Ojibwe language. And what she was doing is she was connecting the energies from one sacred site to another, right? And so, yeah. So I promised you guys if I could find this picture that I would share it with you. And I wanted to and it shows parts of the inside of the tour. And like I said, it's a peel tower. It's a very tall building. structure, I should say. Yeah. Named after St. Michael after the Christians came in. And so, St. Michael, and in Star Nations magazine, we have several articles in the past 5 years where different contributing writers have written about St. Michael, and in many of the pictures he's depicted in, he has his sword up and he is got one foot on a dragon. And there's a lot of ways of interpreting that. But when I take it into context of the fire dragon and the peel tower or the tower in the background, is that maybe it has a lot to do with that initiation, and conquering your fear, getting through that initiation, right? Yeah, and drumming in a place like this, sometimes I get kind of nervous, right? I get that, gee, should I even do that here? This isn't exactly, a Native American kind of situation. But I do it anyway because that's, my spiritual team had told me to take the drum with me, and I'm standing there, and I'm thinking, wow, it's really very nice in there, and it was dry. And so when I pulled out my drum, I knew that was the right thing to do. I had given tobacco, and I also gave tobacco to the drum spirits, the spirit of my drum, and we just started drumming. And so that's something I would not have done, in my younger years. Definitely not. But I wanted to share that picture with you. Yeah, the tour. Wow. All right. So I'm going to show these two together again. I do believe that the spirit is on the same theme as what we had yesterday with the swan and the wolf. It was about our soul growth, right? That the wolf was helping us track down for our soul growth, right? Tracking that shadow part of ourselves, to face that shadow part, to claim it, to understand it, to heal or release whatever goes along with it. And the soul is symbolic of the swan, right? And so in this particular one, I think it feels like we're on the same thread. And it is about our soul growth. It's about the wisdom that we're gaining, that wisdom that we're in search of. And the medicine of the dragon, the fire dragon, can help protect us on that journey. And more importantly, can help protect that wisdom once we've gained it, so that we have we use it in a good way. Not to misuse our gifts, and not to misuse our power. Yeah. And the otter, is helping us to say, we can find this, and it can be playful and it can be joyful. And the otter can actually help us with the protection of that as well, of the wisdom that we're looking for, that we're reaching for, right? What do you think about that? All right. Man, we went in a lot of different directions with this one. Different information, right? Pulling it together, having that spiritual conversation, and taking it all in, absorbing it, And because what does it mean for you, right? How does that resonate with you? And the whole thing doesn't have to resonate, but the bits and pieces that did, is just to embrace that part and see how the information of the fire dragon and the otter, how they can help you on your quest for that wisdom, how you're gaining your wisdom. And once you've gone through the initiation, who knows? I don't know for sure, because there's so many of us that are here and will be watching the recording, is that many of us could be right in the midst of the initiation, right? There's some of us that have already gone through it and we're just on the other side of it, and now we're heading into the integration. The part where we bring it in and sit with it for a while and let it acclimate, right? Yeah. And the fire dragon can help with that as well. This can help us. It can help protect us. It can help protect that wisdom that we've gained, and it can protect what we've gained while we are in that integration, while we're even mastering it. And when we've reached that mastery level, that the dragon is no longer has to guard it for us, doesn't have to protect it for us, right? Yeah. It's kind of funny. I don't know if Kim is still in the chat or if she's still listening. Kim, all those years ago, right? What was the title of that we were trying to do together? The wisdom that we've gained, right? The wisdom that we've gained. An anthology of women writers across different experiences, right? It's kind of it's along that theme. It's along that theme, and this fire dragon is very helpful with that. And so when we have, I like it when they're looking at each other. When we have the full spectrum here, when we're going from everything from the fire dragon all the way across to an otter, it's a full spectrum. It feels that way to me anyway. Yeah, good. So if this didn't resonate with you at all, it's okay. Don't worry about it. If it wasn't meant for you, you can just let it lie, right? And there's always tomorrow or the day after in the next card draw that it may resonate with you. So don't worry about it. You're not going to hurt anyone's feelings by saying that I didn't get that one at all. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. But if it did resonate with you, like I said, my suggestion is to embrace it, and then be watchful, mindful of how the energy is unfolding around you today, and where this information is helpful for you. Yeah, whether you're directly participating in an event or a situation, and you can actually apply the information, or if you're a witness to it. I say either way, we're learning something from it, so it's good. Yeah. So with Star Nations, and thank you to Stephanie. She made some posts in the live comments about all the things that are coming up at Star Nations this week. We have a lot of live stream shows for you this week. It's a lot. It starts on Monday with the Tarot Journey with Julie Hedges. And she's also doing card reads toward the end of her show on Monday night. So if you enjoy having a mini reading, please join Julie at 9 p.m. Eastern. And she's going to be sharing about love through the tarot and through astrology, and doing some card reading. All right, that's on Monday. Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Eastern is from Star to Stone. with show host Mervyn Kelly, and he is going to be sharing about song and stories. So, yeah, the druid stuff again. And so that's at 10:30 Eastern. At noon Eastern is Chakra Sessions with Polly Jo LeBay, and that's on Tuesday at noon Eastern time. And I can't remember what she's talking about. I can't remember. Sorry. It's in the writing though. It's in the messages in the comment section. And then at 3 p.m. Eastern is the daily live stream show, this one, with the card draw information. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern time is my weekly show, Communications from Home. And my topic this week it's the question, who is a shaman? And thank you, Tina. This is a topic that you asked me to bring to the community. And so we're going to be talking about, is everybody a shaman? Who is a shaman, right? Yeah, it's going to be a good one. All right. So on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern is the daily live stream. And then at 4 p.m. is Nature Adventures with Minnie Kansman and myself. And that show topic is about the element of air, the sacred element of air. And yeah, Minnie and I have a lot of information about the element of air. So come and join us for that one. And then at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday is Polly Jo LeBay is back with Soul Connections. And that is healing meditation at the first part of the show. And in the second half is card draws. And so again, if you'd like individual card draws, a mini reading, you can join Polly Jo at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's on Wednesday night. On Thursday in the evening at 8 p.m. Eastern time is the free mini class, our monthly mini class at Star Nations Academy closed group. And I'm teaching that one, and that is about soul contracts, okay? And so if you're not a member of the closed group, don't worry about that. Just go and visit us at the closed group, the Academy closed group, and ask to join, and we'll get you set up, okay? All right. See, I told you, we got a lot. I got a lot. Oh, and thank you, Stephanie, for listing this one. I forget about this one. Is that I'm teaching a class in March here at Star Nations Academy in Toma. And this is a class that I've taught in the past, and I'm just now coming back to it. And I'm calling it The Journey of Remembering. And that is how to live our life from our heart, how to be in our hearts, and also to activate our Merkaba. So that is the weekend of March 22nd, okay? So if you want to join us for that, please go to our website at starnations.org to the Academy page, and you'll get all kinds of information there, and that's where you register too, all right? Okay, so enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and card draw, all right? And Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. I love you guys.